Lincoln pennies have been part of American pockets for more than a century, but some rare dates and errors have turned ordinary coins into jaw-dropping treasures that could still be hiding in plain sight. From mysterious minting mistakes to legendary rarities, let's dive and uncover these copper fortunes. 1983-era copper Lincoln penny. Have you ever been holding a penny, absent-mindedly tossing it between your fingers, when you stop and think, what if this little coin was worth thousands of dollars? Well, if that penny in your hand happened to be a 1983 Lincoln cent struck on copper instead of the intended zinc planchet, then you wouldn't just be daydreaming, you'd be holding one of the rarest and most valuable modern U.S. coins in existence. This isn't just a collector's fantasy. It's a reality that has shocked the numismatic world and made everyday pocket change a hunting ground for treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the story of this rare coin, a story that involves a major U.S. mint composition change, overlooked mistakes, and a collector market willing to pay life-changing money for the right find. The Lincoln cent had been an American staple since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, designed by Victor David Brenner. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic representation of liberty. For over 70 years, the coin was struck in a copper-based alloy, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a warm reddish-brown glow that became instantly recognizable. But in the late 1970s and early 1980s, copper prices began to climb sharply. The metal content in a penny was suddenly worth almost as much as the coin's face value, and the U.S. Mint knew that producing a 1-cent piece at a loss couldn't continue. The solution changed the composition. For most people, a 1983 penny is just another piece of common change, worth exactly 1 cent, but for those in the know, the weight tells the story. Copper cents weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh just 2.5 grams. That difference, a little over half a gram, may not sound like much, but in the numismatic world, it's the key to identifying a fortune. The only way to be certain is to put the coin on a precise scale. If it tips at the heavier copper weight, you potentially struck gold, or in this case, copper. For decades, collectors scoured their change without knowing these coins existed. It wasn't until discoveries started being made and certified by grading companies like PCGs and NGC that the full story unfolded. Each time one surfaced, the coin community lit up with excitement. Auctions became headline news in numismatic circles, with bidding wars that pushed prices higher and higher, depending on condition. A genuine 1983 copper penny can sell for thousands of dollars, sometimes exceeding $15,000 for high-grade examples. Even circulated specimens, if confirmed genuine, can fetch a four-figure price tag. One of the most mysterious and valuable coins in American history. Could you be holding the elusive 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny, an experimental strike shrouded in secrecy, an oddity that wasn't supposed to exist, and a coin so rare that even veteran collectors can go their entire lives without seeing one in person? The year 1964 was a pivot point for the U.S. Mint. The nation was in the middle of a massive coin shortage. Rising silver prices were pushing the mint toward removing silver from dimes, quarters, and half dollars. On top of that, mintages were soaring to meet demand, and the mint was making major adjustments to its production processes. Denver, the D mint mark you see on this penny, was producing billions of coins. And somewhere in the chaos of 1964 and 1965, the mint created a small number of what we now call SMS, or special mint set, coins. Mintage, that's where the mystery deepens. The official mintage for 1960 for D Lincoln cents is an enormous 3,799,071,500 coins, nearly 3.8 billion. But the SMS version is thought to number in the mere dozens, maybe even fewer. No official record confirms exactly how many were struck, but based on auction appearances, the population is minuscule. A handful are certified by grading services like PCGs and NGC, and each one that surfaces sends shockwaves through the numismatic community. So how do you know if you have one? The differences between a 1960 for DSMS and a regular 1960 for D cent are subtle, but crucial. First, the strike SMS coins have razor-sharp detail, particularly on Lincoln's hair and beard. Second, the luster, these coins often have a satiny or slightly mirrored sheen, not the dull matte of a normal business strike. Third, the edges, the rims on SMS coins are full and squared, as if the coin was struck with extra pressure. Fourth, the die polish, you may notice fine, uniform polishing lines in the fields, something typical of specially prepared dies. And finally, the surface's SMS examples are far cleaner, with far fewer nicks, because they weren't bagged and shipped in the same rough way as circulation coins. Now, Here's where values get jaw-dropping. In average circulated condition, a 1964 Lincoln Penny is worth a penny, literally 1 cent. Even in uncirculated grades, most are worth just a few dollars. But an authenticated 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny, that's a whole different ballgame. We've seen examples sell for $10,000, $15,000, even more. In top condition, say, SP66 or SP67, the sky's the limit. These aren't just coins. They're numismatic treasures with a collector base willing to pay a small fortune for the privilege of owning one. The record prices are fueled by a combination of extreme rarity, unexplained origin, and the mystique of holding something that's almost mythical in the coin world. The 1964 era SMS Lincoln Penny. Imagine for a moment that you're sifting through an old coin jar, fingers moving through years of history, mostly common sense, nothing unusual, until your eyes lock onto one penny. At first, it looks like any other 1964 Lincoln cent. But there's something different. The finish is sharper, the strike is crisper, the details almost jump out at you. You've just stumbled upon one of the most mysterious and valuable modern U.S. coins ever made. The 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny. This isn't just a coin. It's a riddle wrapped in copper, a treasure whose origin is still debated by experts today. And if you have one, you could be holding thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in your palm. Now, before we get into the jaw-dropping values, we have to understand why this coin is unlike anything else from its year. The year 1964 was a pivotal time in U.S. coinage history. Silver coins were about to disappear from circulation, and the mint was under tremendous pressure to produce billions of coins for commerce. In the midst of this chaos, a tiny handful of what we now call special mint set 1964 pennies were struck. Except, there were no special mint sets officially made in 1964. That's right. This coin should not even exist. And yet, a small number of these SMS coins somehow made it into the hands of collectors decades later, sparking one of the greatest modern coin mysteries. Errors on the 1964 SMS penny are virtually non-existent, simply because so few were made. These coins were struck with extraordinary care, likely using polished dies and carefully prepared plankets. However, among the few survivors, subtle variations in strike strength or die polish lines can add to the intrigue. For ordinary 1964 pennies, errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks are somewhat collectible, but they pale in comparison to the allure and value of the SMS version. Speaking of value, this is where things get truly exciting. Back in the early 2000s, a certified 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny in superb condition could fetch around $10,000 to $15,000, but as more collectors learned of their rarity, prices skyrocketed. In recent years, top-grade examples graded by PCGS or NGC have sold for staggering amounts: $20,000, $30,000, and even more. One particularly pristine specimen, graded SP6 8RD, that special strike, red, brought an eye-watering $156,000 at auction. Imagine that one penny worth more than a luxury sports car. And the demand isn't just from die-hard Lincoln cent specialists, advanced collectors of U.S. coins across all denominations covet these pieces because of their mystery and their connection to one of the most interesting transitions in American coinage. They represent a bridge between the proof coins of the early 1960s and the special mint set coins of the mid to late 60s, a small, enigmatic chapter in numismatic history.